Everybody, Healthy Prepper today, talking about water. And I've been thinking about this. This has been on my mind, not just prepper water in general, but I've been thinking about the folks out in the west of the United States, the dry west, the Arizona, the Phoenix, the dry parts of Nevada and California and Utah. I think about myself here, and I'm constantly trying to think of ways to make sure that we have enough water. We buy cased water. We buy 5-gallon jugs of water we use in a cooler system. Plus, we also have a lake out back. We also have the Catadine water filters. We have the Berkey water filters. So I feel like filtering water, we've got all the iodine tablets and the water purification tablets. And I just bought some of these online. Not quite sure I got the right thing. I was a little bit concerned about bleach lasting in a bottle. I know that it will degrade over time, and it'll only last for about a year in a bottle or so. So you can buy these bleach tablets instead. The thing is, this is not the same thing as your liquid bleach in the bottle. It's a little bit, it's a different chemical. And so I researched the chemical in this pill form. Here it is. Good old sodium dichloroisocyanurate. And there's lots of research on this, but then I see this at the bottom, not for drinking water. So I was wondering if I purchased the wrong type. Now there are things called aquatabs and other things like that are this substance and made for drinking water. This may be okay, but it's just not it's not approved for drinking water. It is made in Toronto, Canada, so it's not coming from China or something like that, but it's not actually approved for water. It doesn't mean it also doesn't say is this 100% that substance, or is it mixed with other components? I mean, you never know what the binders are. So something to think about there. But I did some research online and looked at all sorts of different studies from the World Health Organization and from independent environmental studies on this particular substance. And it's been used successfully for water treatment all over the world for many different kinds of organisms, and it's actually had good success compared to regular household bleach. So something to consider. I'm not sure this is the exact one you want to get. Maybe you want to get one specifically designed for water purification itself, but basically these come in, it's like 1 tab per gallon of water. So they're very inexpensive. It comes out to about 14 cents for a gallon of bleach this way. And even if you just want to buy use this for regular bleach instead of your gallons, so you don't have to drag the gallons home, you just toss it in. And it works a little bit faster than regular bleach. They say that this will work within 30 minutes, whereas regular bleach you should wait at least an hour after adding it to water. So something to consider. Also, so many different organisms can be treated with this. It's just amazing what you think of that goes into your water supply that you might have to rely on sometimes. But, E. coli, Giardia, Salmonella, polio of all things, not to mention all the, where I live here, our water is full of all the runoff from the pesticides and the lawn treatment stuff. It just pours into the lake because everybody's lawn runoff runs into the lake, and we used a recycled water system here to water the lawns. So the good thing about it is it's a spring-fed lake behind us, but of course it does receive all the runoff from the lawn stuff, which is not good. Plus, if there was any type of environmental attack, the lake would be exposed and could potentially become contaminated. So those things to consider. shifting the focus back onto the folks out in the dry desert areas. You know, having water and purifying it is one thing, but just having the water or getting the water in the first place, I mean, my heart goes out to these people. I would love to hear what your ideas and plans are. I mean, there's only so much water you can store. You know, we have a rainy season here, but and I'm sure you have rainy seasons or short rainy seasons or flash floods that maybe you can capitalize on. But, you know, what happens when that's not going on, when you are just looking at dry season after dry season? And, you know, how much supply can you potentially backstock and keep it fresh and ready at the go? You know, that's a huge portion of the United States that faces potential drought through a large part of the year. And I'm very, very curious to hear what the preppers in those areas are doing. Do you have ways to capture excess rainwater and funnel it into any type of, you know, reservoir or way to save the water? And rain barrels, you know, does it go through a filter system before it hits the rain barrel? Are you adding any additives to it before storage, or are you going to purify it after and use it as you pull it out of storage? Very curious to hear what folks are doing. I mean, that is just a whole different ball of wax. And, you know, everything stops until you get water. And it's very rate limiting. I mean, you're not going to travel. You are not going to move. You cannot take care of yourself, your group, your family, your community without clean water. So, you know, I would love to hear what ideas you have in order to store, and how much do you have to store, and how much do you think you need to store? I mean, I'm sure probably most of us feel like we never have enough, you know, to say we're okay and we've got enough baseline, because we honestly don't know what we might face one day. So how do you ever say you have enough? You don't know if you've got way too much or not enough. It's sort of a guessing game here. But, you know, with that, taking all of that into account, really, it's such a serious situation, and I just, you know, would love to hear from folks who are actually living this and what their thoughts and plans are. And if you'd be open to sharing, because I'm certain there are thirsty ears who would be very, you know, willing to hear your ideas. So anyway, what I've learned from my research is that this particular type of bleach, they call it short form NADCC, is used for water treatment all over the world in some very obscure areas. Even the military was using it. And in Brazil, El Salvador, France, Honduras, Portugal, South Africa, and Tanzania, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe. Although they have found different levels of, you know, bacteria, it does take care of a lot of things. It doesn't take care of everything. And that goes across the board with all bleaches. So definitely something to consider if you're relying on bleach as your only purification system. You know, you may want to consider adding in some type of filtration system. You know, especially to filter out large particulate matter, algae, you know, chunks of random stuff. And then deal with your water. You may want to boil it. You may want to add a drop or two of bleach to it. And you may want to let it sit. Some people will put it in a jug in the sunlight and let the sun do some disinfecting. Other people feel it's better to store your water in the dark. I haven't done the sunlight thing myself, but I have found with my 5-gallon cooler water jugs, if they do get exposed to sunlight over a long period of time, like when we went away for a trip and the water delivery guy dropped some off and they sat outside, we did get some green algae inside the big cooler jugs, the 5-gallon jugs. So something to think about. Yep, love to hear your thoughts on this one. Making me thirsty just thinking about it. So there's the thought of the day. I would love to hear your ideas. I get so many great ideas from you guys. You really get me thinking. I truly appreciate all your comments and all your wisdom. And please consider this your open forum to toss about ideas, because we certainly learn best from each other. Thanks. Happy and healthy prepping, everybody.